What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the Pogcast things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I am Chilitas.
Oh, that's actually good. Chilitas.
Oh, why are you stressy, Kazam?
Bro. Just been a day. Just been a day. We like
not a day. Tell me about it.
We have to get our entire not have to. We are getting our entire AC system replaced, which is horrendous.
Good thing it's not hot outside.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we've known ever since we moved in that it's like a 20-year-old system. It's on its last legs. We've had techs come out and fix it like a bunch of times since we lived here, but we're just pushing that off, right? Because that's a big purchase. That's a lot of money. And we were like, can we please just get through one more summer? You know what I mean? Like, can we, like, if we can do it next year, like, you know what I mean? Save a little bit more money. Just like, can we get through one more summer? Past couple, week, obviously with like how hot it's just been really struggling. And then you get to that point where it's like, if I set it to 73 and it's at 75, I can tank that. But the worry is because it can't keep up with where we want to set it. The worry is just it's going to break. And if it breaks, then you're out however many days. You know what I mean? It's like that's the worst case scenario. So we were like, it was more so that because we knew it was on its last legs. It's like, I'm okay if the house is just 2 degrees hotter than I want it to be. But if it's no AC for a week with 4 of us in this house, that's not okay. So
yeah, what you would need to do is to get one window unit, and everybody would be powwowing in one room.
We literally would. We talked about it. We would sleep in my office because I've got a mini split. It's like that's what we would do. But so we had a guy come out, and we've worked with this company a ton for like other things. They're awesome people. We had them come out, and it was like okay. So we were like, all right, let's do it, and we scheduled it for next Friday, a week from tomorrow, right? Today on stream, my wife texts me and just goes, fuck, the AC broke. My wife. And I was like, no, not like this. Dude, not like this. We were trying. So I like went out and I think it was just like the float valve thing. I don't know. It turned out that it was like once the system was off for a little bit and some float valve thing drained, it kicked back on. But we were like, that was definitely confirmation that we're like, okay, we're doing the right thing by doing it. So that was like a scare. And then some other thing happened today. My OBS crashed during the stream. 3 hours later, my stream PC crashed during the stream. It just was like literally one of those days where like every hour, either I had a technical issue or my wife was like calling me for some like house thing, which is fine. I just like at the end of the stream, I was just like, I just want to lay down. You know what I mean? It was just like, I just internalized that stuff so much more. I know it's like, I know it's ridiculous, you know what I mean? But I get so stressed when anything is happening on stream. You know what I mean? Like, which is like, it's entertainment. Like, I feel like if my feed cuts, the guy's surgery doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, I get so stressed, like if anything happens when in reality, it's like, you're just an idiot playing video games in your office. It's not a big deal. But I just get stressed. So it was just like one battle after another today. And we have to pay fucking $10,000 to get our AC.
It's a non-zero. It's approaching zero. It's asymptotically approaching zero for infinity, but it's a non-zero chance that a billionaire watches the podcast.
Yo.
And if you're watching,
please.
I'll Jesse up with like $1,000 dono minimum next time he's live, please, and thank you.
Bro, I just need one of your millies, and I'm good.
Yeah, dude, be me a month ago, and realize at no point in the last 10-month process of building my house or any of the thing leading up to there did I ever inquire, or get any information about an air conditioning system.
Oh,
it's in the sudden panic of like,
wait a minute.
Texting my builder, be like, hey, so like, is there air conditioning?
We're not building one of those weird European homes, are we?
And I fully expect, like, the first thing that came to mind was he's going to be like, you never told me you wanted one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if that says more about me than him, but, and he's like, yeah. Okay, I just kind of assumed, but
I am excited because it's like it sucks having to bite that bullet. But when you bite the bullet, you get the new thing. Like AC
and
units.
Next year, you will have forgotten about the major punch in the balls that is the minus $10,000+ and like the money spent, and you just have the
benefit. Exactly. It's like it's a high efficiency one where like instead of the fan, it's either off or on. It's like it's 3 different phases, so it can like it splits the freaking, I don't know, he explained it all to me, so it doesn't have to be. There's like humidity sensors and humidity control on these newer models, so that it's like he was saying like you might find that 3 degrees higher than what you normally set it feels cold because you can set the humidity such that you don't have to crank it down as much. It's just like, so I'm like hearing this and I'm like, okay, this is going to be nice to have, especially in Florida, to have like a little bit of extra control, not have it chug so hard in the summer where like, I want to set it to 71, but it's at 75 until midnight. You know what I mean? Like, because that's when it can actually cool the house down. So it's like, that's going to be nice. It sucks having to get that punch to the balls of spending the money, but it's going to be nice.
I'm sure like 13% of our audience are like HVAC people, just because like somehow there's always
they're everywhere.
Like, a relevant, not even specifically HVAC, but just like no matter what I'm talking about, it's just surprising. It passes a certain size of audience. There's just like 7 of anything you can imagine. Like there's a brain surgeon, right? Like somewhere.
Yeah.
But I was told that like in New England, because we have such large swaths of temperature shifts, there are, I don't know if this is even anything that you would have experienced either in Florida or anywhere else that you lived, but like, did you ever like either go on vacation maybe or go away for a while and just like change the setting, like the temperature setting, or like while you're gone, turn it up or down 10 degrees or whatever?
Oh, like leave like the house, like when we leave the house, we set it up. Yeah, we do that. We'll raise it higher than we normally have it, just
because I was surprised that I was talking to an HVAC person and they were basically like saying like, don't even bother with those Nest things. Like they were just saying like, just set it to like 70 or whatever you set it at, just fucking leave it.
I have also heard that. Yeah.
Like it's better for your system. It's better for your house to just like, I
have heard that it's easier to keep it at a degree than to change the degree. So if it's like you wake up and you set it 3 or 4 degrees up, and then when you go to bed, you set it 3 or 4 degrees out, it has to work so hard to pull the whole house down. Whereas if you just set it there and it can just like keep it there. I've heard that too. I don't know how true that is, but I have also heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. We don't really do much here. I like every time I go, we've got, like the thermostats we have are from like 1974 or whatever.
Yeah.
No matter what I do to like set it to do a thing that I think is like right, the moment I check it again, I'm like, this isn't what I thought.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's fine. So
yeah.
Basically, like when spring rolls around, I just like flip a big red switch that's like the emergency switch, just so like the fucking heating system doesn't come on, because like I can't figure out how to make it so that it just I don't know. I'm not gonna bother like reading the tiny 2-point font in like the how to program this motherfucking ancient thing with like one button.
Yeah. And our freaking I had mentioned this when we were like the struggles of this when we had like our oven replaced. All of our shit is like you go in the garage and then there's like a transition room. So you go from the garage, if you're going to go inside the house, you walk into this little room where like the washer and dryer is, like little mud room thing. That's where the breaker panel is. And it's this tiny room, and that's where an attic access is. And right above the breaker panel, right above the washer and dryer, is where the hot water heater was. and it's where our AC handler is. And so like every time we've had anything done in the house for any reason, like even the internet guy, when he has to go up there, he's like, why is your air handler and your water heater up there? And we were like, I don't know, bro. This house was built in 1982. I wasn't here then. And so like when we had to get the hot water heater replaced, and they were like, this was like right after we moved in, we had to get the hot water heater replaced. They were like, the one up there doesn't fit through the attic access, and the one you're buying doesn't fit up. So we moved all the piping and we just put the hot water heater in the garage, and they were like, here's your option. We're going to have to cut this shit wide open, or we can just leave that other hot water heater up there if you want. So we have an extra hot water heater just up there because it's like, I'm never in the attic, bro. And then when the AC guys were here, they were like, well, what system fits? Like they were like doing math on like what they have that could fit up the stupid thing. And then they have to build like this bespoke thing because only this thing. And I'm just like, what the hell? But
yikes.
Everything is in the attic, and now nobody knows why. And it's right above the breaker box.
Oof. Fucking oof.
Yeah.
We had a little hiccup in our basement because originally the plans called for the heater, the furnace to be like in the corner.
Yeah.
But because of like the way that all the structural stuff in my house is, there's we have a few steel beams and stuff to get rid of some of the lolly columns. But like it would make more sense to like not have it in the corner of the house and then have like to build all of the HVAC stuff to go like, you can't go through the structural, so you have to like go under, and it's just like a pain in the balls. And the way that when they were like, we were walking through everything, all I was thinking about was like fucking Factorio, like all of the routing of all the. I'm like, I like the design you guys have come up with better. Whereas basically moved it into the center so that like the main center of the house could have like the one big main thing, and then they branch off of that and whatever.
Nice, yeah.
But what they ended up doing was they installed it like 9 inches further than it needed to be.
Okay.
So, you know how like, I mean, if you just picture like a furnace as like a fucking giant rectangle, right?
Yeah.
But off of that, there's like pipes and like electrical boxes and switches and like there's stuff off of it. Well, that part of it, if you were standing perfectly like facing a window that we have, facing it exactly, what you would see is that all of the stuff, the pipes and whatever hanging off the side is just like an inch in front of the left part of the window in the basement, which is a basement that we've set up to be finished basement.
Yeah.
And so if we wanted to finish it, there's not enough space to put what you do is put a fucking closet.
Yeah.
You put that in a closet.
Yeah.
There's no way to put a wall there.
Yep.
Because the wall would go into the window. It's some back rooms architecture where it's just like a window. So it was kind of like, and we didn't notice it until a few weeks after they had installed it.
And you're just like, oh.
It was like,
yeah, just no clip it under the map.
Yeah, so
oh damn.
But luckily they're going to be able to basically like take all the shit that's like hanging off of it, the pipes, the plumbing and whatever, and like move it to the other side.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And that will give enough room to just put like, it's a closet, so it's not, it might be like a slightly thinner wall but it'll be like the frame of the window will be right up against the wall, so it'll fit, it'll be fine. It's like a downstairs basement room.
But you
like,
were just like, wait a minute.
I'm like, the way this room is unusable.
Yeah.
You put like a game table right next to the fucking furnace, like. So,
dude, a furnace. It's crazy. I think in the calendar year of 2025, we turned our heat on like 3 times.
Piece of shit.
It's crazy. Oh man.
It's a shit.
Well, other than that, I don't.
Good, man. I've just been like getting up at 6 in the morning and like sitting in my chair until like 3 a.m. just busting out. I've only been like streaming like every other, just busting, dude. I've been taking a bunch of days off from streaming. Just
like just working on the video. Nice.
On the video, I cranked out. I mean, as is the case, dude. It's one of those things. Like, I want the video to be like under 2 hours.
There's no way.
I did like. There's like okay, so there's. I just started using Obsidian, by the way.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
So there's 4 parts to my video, and so part 4 has like an intro and a few. Part 4 has like 3 parts to it. And one of those parts, I have a tangent. And I just finished editing the like one sub part of 1/4 of 1/4, and it was 23 minutes.
So part 3B has a side tangent that's 23 minutes long.
Yeah, and there's 2 montages. I can't.
Dude, just embrace it. I want to see all 6 hours that this video is going to be.
I know, dude. I know. The problem is that I keep holding out hope that like if the video is like an hour and a half long, that's the shit where like Moist Critical would react to it.
I see what you mean. Would, like,
yeah. Where a bunch of like
which
body cam YouTubers would watch it. You know, like
isn't a crazy thing for you to say, because like didn't some people react to your Billy Mitchell video? Didn't Moist Critical react to your bit? Yeah.
He didn't react to it. He just shouted it out.
Damn.
And my
analytics
graph was like,
went.
I got like 80,000 views in like 3 days from Moist Critical just mentioning that my video was like the best Billy Mitchell video.
Damn. So I see what you mean there, where you're like keeping it to a crisp 90, to 120 minutes just increases the likelihood somebody while they're eating lunch on stream will click on the video and react to it.
Yeah, dude, it's so hard because like I find it really hard to balance making a fair, compelling, almost indisputable case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like if I show these 12 things, you can't deny, right? If I show one thing, you can it's just an anecdote.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if I show like 9 15-minute long montages, each one hammering home like this is an issue, this is a systemic issue when you see this thing happen over and over and over and over and over again, and exactly so it's like I see
what you mean. Yeah.
So much of the content I watch, there's an aspect of it too where it's like, dude, there's 2 ways to look at it. Making a compelling case and being thorough and having sources and all this stuff, right, is something that like shows in a way that I have like respect for the audience.
Yeah.
But in some ways almost shows that I like don't. I can't trust you to trust me to sort of just figure it out.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I have to do more explicit telling you rather than like
and because there's like layers to it, right? It's like if you showed this, like if people that have watched 10 Veritas videos before watch the video, they wouldn't need that. They wouldn't need the 10 anecdotes. They would, 1 or 2 would be like, wow, like because they have this understanding of like how you research and how you like. But the goal is, right, like you don't want to make a video that has 10,000 views. You want to make a video that gets 1 million views, which means a lot of people that haven't seen a Veritas video watches this video, which means you kind of have to make it for them because you want them to know that you research and that you have thought about these things and that. But then that means you make it longer, and the people, I see what you mean. It's kind of like a viewer Ouroboros where it's like it never ends or begins. It's just like it's hard to, yeah.
So, and there's like, I might have a police interaction that is like 25 minutes of body cam.
Yeah.
That like I could the full context to where you would on a jury. I mean, a single video wouldn't even be enough for a jury, but like where someone who was really, really skeptical would watch the whole thing and say, okay, here's my conclusion about a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like, let's say you were skeptical of either the police or a citizen. If something happened and half of it was cut out, you'd be like, but what was in the other stuff that might make this reasonable? Because like, let's say you are pro, super pro law enforcement, and you'll like want to back them no matter what. If they're like, if what you see shows them to be like totally unhinged, jumping to conclusions, escalating super fast, your reaction might be like, did they cut out the part where the guy
what
said
wasn't shown here?
Mm-hmm. Right? Like, you never know, because a lot of these channels fucking do edit stuff in such a way that's like so shitty.
Yes. Especially since a part of the video is about how officers may turn off or mute their body cams. Like, part of the video is about how they will often not give the whole story by editing or cutting parts out of the body cam footage. So it's like, you want to kind of like honor the fact that you are showing the full context of what happened on the body cam footage before you're going to make an assessment. Like, I can see that. Yeah.
So I can like, it can be full unedited, which is like the content I'm usually, well, actually, I'm either consuming the full unedited thing or most of the time I'm consuming like a breakdown that's like maybe 80% of the content with like some kind of commentary or reaction. Now, I could edit it, given that this goes into so many different things, and I'm going to be covering 100 different. There's like 100 different police interactions that will be shown, discussed, whatever.
Yeah.
Some of which will be 30 minutes, some of which will be 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Some of which will be a clip. And so it's like, I don't necessarily feel like there are ways to edit it in such a way where I can cut out 98% of it. I can show the cop saying a thing.
Yeah.
So just to give like a more concrete example, wait, I'm thinking about. Okay. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let me check something real quick about Florida.
There are no laws here. No laws when you're drinking claws.
You always have to reference the bath salts statute. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So, let's say you are walking down the street.
As I do.
Let's say with a guy friend of yours. Let's say you're like, you left the bar.
Yeah.
You had a couple of drinks.
Yep.
And you're like walking down the boardwalk or whatever.
Yep.
A cop walks up to you and says, hey, what are you doing? Show me some ID.
Yeah.
I know what you would do.
Yeah.
Why don't you say what you would do?
I would give him the ID.
You'd say, "Oh, I'm sorry,
yeah.
We're leaving the bar."
I'm the most conflict-averse person on the planet, dude.
So,
but what I should do is, for what, officer?
Well, listen, I'm not going to say what anyone should do.
Yeah.
The point of my video is, what do we have the right to do?
Ding, ding, ding.
What do we have the right to do? What rights do the police have?
Yeah.
Because one of the main sort of theses of my video, which I want to make very clear, is not an anti-police video. I am a unironically, I think you could say anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Wow. The word we all learned in 6th grade that was like, this is the longest word on the planet.
Opposition to the withdrawal of state support recognition for an established church. Okay, so not exactly. If there's some variation of that where it might not be like establishmentarianism, it might be like establishmentism,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, I was just being cheeky. That's
Mayhaps.
neither here nor there. It's pro-constitution,
Yeah.
anti-law enforcement corruption,
Yeah.
which you would think would be not controversial.
Mm.
The problem is, what happens when you love America, you're super patriotic, you love our soldiers, and you love our law enforcement, and you think law enforcement deserve respect, and you should comply with law enforcement, and when law enforcement is demanding things that are unconstitutional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, in my experience talking with folks who might describe themselves in that way very strongly, what they end up siding with the police
Yeah.
for reasons
Mm-hmm.
like you should just
Which probably stem from, like you were saying, kind of a lack of knowledge on what our rights are, what the
not even necessarily
police. Well, yeah, I'm sure there are people, but it's like I can imagine that there are people where it's like the slippery slope thing, where it's like there's not a super clear understanding of my rights, there's not a super clear understanding of what the police can do, but then I'm very pro-police, and so in this I make my opinion very, well, you should have listened to the police, and then later if something is described to me such that information I didn't know, well, now it's like some cause I have to double down, and like, you know, we see that a lot where people get kind of caught into making an opinion before they have all the information. And then now that I just got to dig in, right? That opinion is my opinion. And it's like,
what you're describing is one slice of
that,
society.
yes, yeah.
But like earlier, I was watching a law enforcement officer who has a reaction channel, and most of the videos he does, there are 3 or 4. Like every video is like he's reacting to like 3 or 4 different cases. They almost always are either like sovereign citizens or like the most unhinged, like drunken Karen.
Yeah.
Like it's law enforcement officer having to deal with really shitty, annoying citizens.
Yeah.
And it's not the kind of stuff that got me into this originally, which had to do with like constitutional auditing.
Yeah.
And which is a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Like one of the channels I watch is called Audit the Audit.
Mm-hmm.
And literally what they do is they look at auditor or police interaction videos and they judge it objectively. Now, I don't necessarily always agree with some of the grades and stuff, but objectively they say like, these are what the laws are. This is what the cop claims. This is what the person claimed. They break it all down, and then at the end they give grades. And like half the time the police get the A and the citizen gets the F. Half the time they both get C pluses.
Yeah.
It's very, in my opinion, very balanced. Whenever there's like a law enforcement officer doing these reaction videos, it's 98% of the videos they react to, the people are totally unhinged.
Yeah.
And so and they don't really do much of a legal analysis. It's more of just like, I'm a cop, I'm going to share like what our mindset is.
And what I would have done there. And
but it's very, very, if there's ever any criticism, the criticism is usually like tactical. Like one of the guys I watch a bunch of, this guy, Sergeant Curtis, who I'm going to be interviewing. We had a conversation.
Nice.
And I think I'll be able to interview him. He seems like a really nice guy. He's ex-law enforcement, but he always comments on whenever he sees like a female officer, if they have like a ponytail.
Yeah.
He'll be like, you got to have a bun, like got to have a tactical bun, he calls. And it's like half a joke, but half like, you get in a tussle with someone, you're fucked if you have a ponytail and they just grab that, right? So it like makes sense, but those are the criticisms. The criticisms are never, what they just did was completely unhinged and not okay.
Yeah.
And so one of the guys I was watching earlier, a cop comes up to some kid who was like wearing like a costume, and the cop was like, "Can I have your name?" And the kid, I want to say it was like Anakin Skywalker or whatever, and the kid was like Anakin, and it was like, I'm just kidding. And the cop was like, turned it up to 11, you know, like, I'm not fucking around. Like, it was like, and then there was another one where now that's not really like a big deal.
Yeah.
But his reaction to that was like, wow, this officer is in a mood. You better comply.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, okay.
Yeah,
And then
yikes.
And then there was like another one where like the cop was like, should have been fucking fired. Like, he should be fired for the way they were behaving.
Mm-hmm.
And all he could say was like, yeah, that was over the top. It should be like, no, this guy should be fucking fired.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve a badge. Like, this kind of behavior. And so it's like, when you say that's over the top, he's not ignorant of the law.
Yeah.
He is okay with like law enforcement going too far.
Yeah.
Like, there's this implicit, like, you got to support the police, and, you know, sometimes they just which in my opinion is like not very far from like, you know, we both love, you know, a mother speaking to the kids being like, listen, we love dad and dad loves you and whatever. So every now and then he hits mommy.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's just, it's like, no. Yep. No, it's not okay.
Yep.
So there's an aspect of it that's just like,
yeah.
It's in our culture where we've become okay with overstepping and the mindset of it's your, and I have a montage of it where it's officers saying, your job is to fucking do what we say. You listen to what we say.
Yeah.
So I have this entire like flow chart that I came up with that like breaks down a whole bunch of like the sort of legal case law that's relevant to like all of the decisions. But like from a super high level, and again, I'm caveating this with like, I'm not a lawyer. There's every single one of these things. There are exceptions to every rule.
Yeah,
some of them are really clever. Some of them might be, if you live in Michigan, it doesn't apply at all.
Yeah.
Be shit like that. But I'm going to like walk through from a high level what's like generally the way things go. Police come and walk up to you. They have the right to do that. US v. Mendenhall says police can just engage in encounters with people, and that by itself isn't like a Fourth Amendment violation. Yeah. Fourth Amendment being the right to unreasonable searches and seizures, which, contrary to what a number of the police in my video say, your body can be seizured, can be seized. Like, if you're walking down the street and they stop you, that is a seizure. Yeah. Don't understand that, you know, they think like, oh, that's only when I take shit out of your car.
Yeah.
But so then from there, my flowchart branches. And this is where things get surprisingly not like incredibly different, but different enough. Yeah. And it all hinges on the question of whether or not the officer has reasonable, articulable suspicion that you have committed, are committing, or about to commit some kind of criminal offense. Yeah. Now, this is like the bedrock of every single one of these encounters, and this is something that, like, I don't know, according to what I see on YouTube, which something I'm going to talk about, I fully recognize is not necessarily reflective of like the pie chart of police. For sure. Of course. What we're seeing is a filtered selection that isn't like a natural randomized control, you know, whatever. Yeah. But most police officers just seem to think that what reasonable suspicion is I'm a reasonable guy and what you're doing is sus. Suspicious. like the amount of times that they say, I have reasonable suspicion that you're committing a crime. And the person goes, what's your reasonable suspicion? And they'll say, I was driving by. It's 1 a.m. and you're parked in this 7-Eleven parking lot and the 7-Eleven is closed.
Mm-hmm.
So I have reasonable suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that might be sus.
Yeah.
But that isn't like,
yeah.
You have to be able to provide articulable, specific facts. So like if let's say someone was like futzing with the like the door was open on the car and they were like messing with you know the ignition, let's say. Or they were just like looking at the ignition because, you know, if you're driving by you can't see what's going on.
Yeah.
If the cop were to say something like, it's a high crime area,
yep,
it's late at night in a commercial area and the business is closed, therefore, I have reasonable suspicion that they might be like stealing this car.
Yes.
That is not reasonable, articulable suspicion just because it's reasonable to you and you could articulate things about why you were suspicious.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that it was suspicious and the fact that you thought they were stealing a car, those are just like conclusions.
Yeah.
Like nothing about what you saw would lead you to think they were stealing the car.
Yeah.
Was there a hammer on the ground and there was shattered glass?
Yes.
Was the ignition punched out and they had a screwdriver?
Yeah.
In my experience as a law enforcement officer, I recognize that having a punched ignition column and some, you know, is
and shards of broken glass everywhere. Yeah.
Those are reasonable, articulable facts, right?
Yeah.
That's reasonable suspicion.
Reasonable suspicion is being conflated with, in the multiverse, is there a universe where you're stealing this car? It's like, if yes, then I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're being like, here's the thing. Like, I could be like a camera across the street from a police station doing this.
Yeah.
With a video camera. Like, and then, you know, like hide behind a tree. Like, what's the crime?
Yeah. You're being
I'm
suspicious.
allowed to stand in public. I'm allowed to film.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm acting weird or annoying you or bothering people around that are complaining, you know, that like people who are walking by and are like, I don't want to be filmed.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're in public. I'm in public. I can film you. But usually what happens is the cops come and they're basically like, oh, this person's a crazy Karen or whatever. And they're like, give me your ID. So there's this branch that starts with reasonable suspicion. The vast majority of the time in these kind of encounters, they don't have reasonable suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
What they have is there's some people are generally complaining about a thing, or I got a call about a thing.
Yeah.
You know, about loud noises or about an argument from your neighbors or whatever it was. And we're just going to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you are on one branch that is known as a consensual encounter.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're interested, look up Florida v. Royer, Royer, 1983 case that covers a shit ton of things. But and then reasonable suspicion and getting detained, which is what I'll talk about after. Terry v. Ohio is the relevant case. But so in an consensual encounter, officers can generally ask you questions.
Yeah.
They can request consent to search you.
Yeah.
They can request your identification. And you can say, fuck you, no thank you, eat shit, and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
A consensual encounter, the consensual part is that
they're allowed to ask you to do those things and you're allowed to say no.
You can say no. You can refuse. And there's case law associated with all of those things. Mm-hmm. And that's why what you always end up hearing during these situations is, am I free to leave? Am I being detained?
Mm-hmm. Because
what that is that's attempting to figure out, am I in the consensual encounter branch?
Yeah.
Or are we in the other branch?
Yeah.
That's the people are, and for whatever reason, the cops roll up because they think you're acting annoying or sus or whatever, or weird. They don't have, and 98% of the time, it seems, they say, you are detained because I'm doing an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
which is already, the whole thing is fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because without reasonable suspicion, according to Terry v. Ohio, they can't detain you lawfully.
Yeah.
So now, if it was a lawful detention, if they actually had reasonable, articulable suspicion, then there's a whole set of things that they can do. But basically, the officer is a lawful detention. They can, if they can articulate why they think you might be armed and dangerous or dangerous, they can perform a Terry frisk. Now, this whole thing, lawful detention, is known as a Terry stop. So the Terry v. Ohio. And the Terry frisk is like a limited pat down of like your outer garments.
Yeah.
If they like go into your pockets and stuff, that's a search. They already fucking violated your Fourth Amendment rights.
Gotcha.
Okay. But they can, if they think there's a chance that the reasonable suspicion you're armed and dangerous, then they can do this Terry frisk and give you a limited pat down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can ask you, "Can I search you?" Just, usually they'll say for officer safety, which is a nice free catch-all for like, I want you to do this. I would get out of the car, go over there, do this. It's all for officer safety. Even when it's like a 93-year-old lady and there's like 5 giant, massive, jacked cops with guns and flashlights and shit. It's always officer safety. Now, even though you are lawfully detained and they have reasonable articulable suspicion that you might be, the criminal activity might be afoot, generally you can still just say no. Now, what's interesting is that there's this one case, Schneckloth v. Bustamante, where the person didn't know they could say no, and so they let the officers search them. And what the case basically said is that, like, you can refuse, but it like doesn't help you if you say yes and you didn't know you could say no.
Yeah, okay.
They're not required to tell you can say no.
Understood.
Which is the crux of so many of these things. When they say, "Give me your ID."
Yes.
That doesn't sound like a request you can say no to.
Yes. Yeah. Going back to what you're saying, we're like, this is about understanding what you have the right to. If there's case law precedent where it's like, they don't have to explain to you what you can and can't say no to, then if you say yes, you can't later say, "I should have said no," and then sue. Yeah.
But that nuance, like what I've explained to you right now in like fucking 3 minutes, is infinitely more nuanced than any officer I've ever seen talk about any of this. They just assume and they will say explicitly, when the police ask you for your ID, you give your ID.
Yeah.
A lawful order is an order I, as a cop, give you. That's not what a lawful order is.
Yeah. Oof, man.
So they can ask you questions. If there's evidence in plain view, then they could generally take things further in terms of like searching. If they look and they see you've got a joint sticking out of your pocket or whatever, they can ask you questions and you are lawfully detained. They have reasonable articulable suspicion criminal activity might be afoot, and you don't have to say anything. You don't have to. They're doing their investigation. It's not my job to help you with your investigation.
Yeah.
I don't have to give you anything. I don't have to comply with anything. All you have to do is effectively, and again, asterisks all over the place, but generally, you just can't get in their way and don't lie to them.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do pretty much anything with pretty much one major exception. There's the whole Terry frisk thing. If they eventually develop probable cause, generally that's when things go into like arrest land and things transform a little bit from there. But the only other thing worth mentioning is, and this is a concept that I really hate, but the stop and ID state.
Yeah.
Because it's like a major misnomer. What people stop and ID state is like, it's not a legal term of art. It's like just a colloquialism.
Gotcha.
So there are 24 and I'm just reading the fucking Google AI overview real quick, but 24 states that allow police to legally demand that a detained individual state their name and sometimes the address or date of birth, provided the officer has a reasonable or articulable suspicion that a person has committed or is about to commit a crime.
So detained is the key word there.
So if they have RAS, reasonable articulable suspicion, and you're detained, and so okay, they have RAS and you're legally detained.
Yeah.
There is no law, like Supreme Court precedent or anything that says you have to provide your ID. There is a case, Heibel versus the 6th Judicial District Court of Nevada, that says states can have a statute that requires you get ID'd, and that is not a violation of the 4th Amendment.
Gotcha.
So basically, if you live in one of these states, the stop and ID states, then generally you're required to identify yourself as long as they have reasonable.
It doesn't mean if they walk up to you on the boardwalk and say, "Give me your ID," you have to give them your ID. It means if they have reasonable articulable suspicion and you are lawfully detained and they ask for your ID, you can't say no.
And it's a stop and ID state.
And it's a stop and ID state. Yeah.
And it's not all stop and ID states, because this is the whole misnomer thing. New Hampshire is a stop and ID state. Every list online will tell you that's a stop and ID state. But the problem there is, if you read the actual statute, and this is what confused me. Where is it in my notes? RSA 594-2. New Hampshire revised statutes, proceedings, and blah, 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 blah. A peace officer may stop any person whom the officer has reason to suspect is committing, has committed, or is about to commit a crime. An officer may request the person's name and address, but the officer shall not arrest the person based solely on their refusal to provide such information.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound very stop and ID to me.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, just whatever state you live in, like, do Google things, but like also talk to a lawyer. But like, some people are smart enough to Google and they can come away with the right answer. Other people aren't smart enough to Google. So I can't. But New Hampshire is one of those states that, at least it seems to me, based on my research, that people will say is a stop and ID state. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that. I didn't look into it, and then went on for months thinking like, that I need to go down one branch of this logic tree, and then realizing that, like, oh no. So what ends up happening in all of these situations is the cops roll up to you and they say, "What are you doing?" And the person says, "None of your business." And then they say, "Give me your ID." And then the citizen says, "I don't have to give you my ID." And then the cop says, "Yes, you do. Give me your ID." And then the citizen says, "Am I being detained?" And the officer says, "Yes." The citizen says, "For what crime?" And there's two answers they'll give you. A, they'll tell you something that isn't a crime.
Yeah.
Well, you're out here recording the police station, and, you know, after 9/11, it's really suspicious that blah, 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 blah. Sorry, that's not a crime, bro.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, well, I'm investigating to see if there is a crime.
Yeah.
And then the citizen says, okay, well, I don't have to help you with your investigation. Now, if the officer has patience, they go back to well, what are you doing? Give me your ID. I don't have to. What crime are you, blah, blah, blah. It's a loop.
Yeah.
I have a montage where there's like one interaction where there's two police officers, and there's like 63 times they're like, give me your ID, give me your ID. And they're like, I don't have to do it. I don't have to. While the cops are also saying, you need to learn the laws. You don't know the laws. You need to learn. And when they run out of patience, if they're really butthurt and have fragile egos, they arrest you for obstruction.
Mm-hmm.
Or resisting.
Mm-hmm.
which is like, I'm arresting you for resisting arrest.
Yeah.
Talk about an Ouroboros.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if their ego isn't terribly hurt, then the officer is like, I'm gonna let you go, but just know I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah.
And
This isn't normal. Yeah.
And the whole time, all the citizen was basically saying is, officer, the thing you want to do, I'm not constitutionally required to do. So it's like, in these kinds of situations, people need to,
for sure.
If law enforcement knew the Constitution and they understood the law and they respected our rights, then you would never have to choose between supporting the Constitution or supporting police.
Yeah.
I want to live in a world where the police follow the Constitution, and then it's easy for me to say 100% I support the police without question.
Yeah.
But the world we live in is the world where I have to say I support good cops, but there is a massive systemic problem in law enforcement where they just don't, on some kind of scale that I can't articulate. I don't know if it's most, I don't know if it's many, I don't know if it's all, I don't know. It's not all, but
of course.
I don't know. All I can say is, from what I've seen on YouTube in the last week, is too much. And that, I'm sure, is a tiny little sliver of what you see.
So 100%. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I support the Constitution and upholding of it, which includes, like you said, some, half, maybe most of the law enforcement. Like, that's not excluding, it's only excluding the ones that don't. And so it's like, how many is that? How big of a problem is it? How systemic is it? But it's not an anti-police statement. It's not a pointed at each other. It's this is the direction the police are supposed to be pointed. I point that same direction. So I'm only against the people not pointing that direction. So so that's just a blanket. It's like any law enforcement that is also very pro-Constitution and understand is like, we implicitly agree and are pointing the same direction. It's anything pointed. So well, dude, I freaking don't envy you diving into that rabbit hole. I mean, I'm so excited for the video as always. Holy moly. Damn.
Yeah, so I'm making a bunch of progress. I don't know what got into me recently, but
that's awesome. Love that. Love the grind. Like when it clicks and you're like, yep, I'm making this video. Like when you get to the point where you're like, I want to not stream today because I just want to work on it. Like that's good. You basically just chase that dragon as long as it's got steam in the tank. You know what I mean? 100%. That's awesome, dude. That's cool. 100%. Well, before we go talk about some of the stuff, going on over in my world, I do want to take a quick second and thank the sponsor for this video, for this episode, and that is Cash App. Cash App is the OG kind of like money sending app. I used it way back in the day and have used it ever since. It was like it was one of those, it was the moment where I was like, wow, I can send money with my phone. You know what I mean? Cash App's been around for forever. So we always used it. It was like, it became the colloquial term, like Kleenex. It was like, Cash App me money. And they have all sorts of different features and benefits built right in. Right now, they're hugely focused on security. So any transaction on there, they'll decline suspicious card transactions, sending you a notification. They'll let you lock your card so you can get a Cash App card. So you can like keep money in your Cash App and use the card. The card was always so sexy. It was like slate matte black, and I loved that thing. So super secure. They're also like huge on savings as well. You can direct deposit into Cash App as well. And if you direct deposit at least $300 in paychecks each month, you can earn interest on your savings with no hidden fees or no minimum balance requirements. You can hit your saving goals faster by turning on roundups. So every time you swipe, it rounds up a little bit and you save. So it's just like the premier kind of like personal finance. You can, have your check deposited into there. You can send money back and forth between your friends. You can get a card so you can use the money from there. It has built-in savings. It's got all sorts of stuff. And new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code CashApp10 in their profile. Free money. in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. So that's $10 if they use code CashApp10. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Cash App Visa debit flex cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, the Bank Corp NA. Pursuant to a license Visa USA Inc. See terms and conditions for the Sutton prepaid card, the debit flex card, and the Bancorp debit flex card. Cash App Green features savings, direct deposit, roundups, overdraft, coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App, a Blanc brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. Thank you to Cash App for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is why that part of these ads always end up like...
Yeah. On the radio, they always like speed it up or whatever. Yeah.
That's what I need to do for all the legal disclaimers in my video. I just speed them up.
Yes, sir.
Dude, I find I'm spending a lot more time editing, cutting out like 1 second, like all the if there's like a valley in the waveform, whether it's my voiceover,
yeah,
clips, cut.
Yeah,
and actually something I adopted a few videos ago that I thought was really interesting that no one ever talks about, and I only ever heard one time referred in one video. I don't even remember where it was, but have you ever seen like dip to white, like that transition, like rather than a fade to black?
Oh, okay. No.
Have you ever noticed that?
No. I mean, I'm sure I've seen it, but like I can't picture
You're
it.
not gonna unsee it.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay.
Whenever it's like on the news or like a documentary, what you'll find is in interviews, whenever there's cuts or whenever it's like there's an answer and then there might be like either some conversation or some coughing or some white noise and then like an answer and that gets cut out.
Yeah.
Dip to white is an explicit saying, I'm editing. This is an edit. It's like an ethical thing.
It's an anti, like, hey, I'm not trying to hide anything here. This is a cut. Interesting.
And so I adopted that. I don't remember when, if it was back in the Billy Mitchell video or if it was in the Flat Earth video.
Wow.
But as soon as I heard about it, I'm like, I need to start doing that because
that's cool.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I can cut, especially in like some of these depositions and stuff. If someone's still a little crossfade and the cut at the right spot, and you won't know that I'm stitching two fucking answers together.
Or the classic is a crop. It looks like an aesthetic edit because you're pushing in. You know what I mean? But because there's a change, you can push in, but to a different answer.
Oh, so you don't see, there's not a what's the C word? Not that C word. Not consistency, but people are on set. They have like this job to make sure that the person who's like holding the bottle.
Continuity.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a way of like hiding.
Yes.
Whenever you see those fucking videos where it's like Philip DeFranco monologuing and it's kind of unscripted and whatever, a lot of times they could do a million takes and they can be looking at the camera just like this, and you'll see a lot of the cuts are they zoom in just a little bit, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. You can make it so that it can be drastically different cuts. Whereas if I was standing like this and suddenly I was like this, and then like
exactly.
Yeah.
That's also why like a 2-camera setup. Like when I did interviews, you know what I mean? You have one to the side that's kind of, cropped in, closer to the face, and then one on this side. And you can make it look like you're just swapping back between angles, but you're swapping between takes too. And it's like, yeah.
Bro.
What's up?
Speaking of camera angles.
Yeah.
I finally saw Obsession.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You said you were going. Was it good?
I haven't experienced like, I don't even know how to describe. It's been so long since I've seen like any sort of horror movies.
Yeah.
So much of horror, quote unquote horror, is either just jump scares.
Yeah.
Or, in the 2000s, us millennials, it was either like found footage shit where you never see anything,
or it's like Saw,
or it's like Saw, where it's just like I'm putting a drill in someone's eyeball, and it's like that's not horror. That's just like, like gore, squeamish, whatever. I had there were 3 distinct moments in this film where it was like full body, like goosebumps,
like discomfort,
uneasy, like terror, kind of like what the fuck.
Yeah,
like it was very, very good.
That's awesome. Yeah,
it was very good. And bro, like I don't know what your monitor setup is like, but like if I move like this, I'm looking at both of our cameras. There are like angles where like anything that isn't like your face, it like almost turns the exposure way down, like down to the point.
Yeah.
Like now I can barely see your camera. I can see Pogcast. I can. All I saw was the whites of your eyes just open up.
Yeah.
There were times in this movie where you would like hear a voice and it would be like looking at like a wall. And I'm like,
is there someone there?
There is just a masterful use of uncomfortably dark lighting.
Yeah.
Like to where you could really only barely see sort of the whites of their eyes.
Yeah.
If there's no light and they're standing in the corner of a room kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they do a couple of camera things that I don't know. I don't know if it was just, it could very well have been play it at 3x speed in reverse.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like walking across a room and it's just like, nope, fucking nope. It's just so alien.
Yeah. It's like, is a horror movie supposed to scare you or make you feel scared? And it's like, yeah, this isn't a movie that necessarily I've heard, it's like jump scares. Monsters are popping out of the forest, cutting people in half, but you feel horrified throughout the movie. And it is successful in that way.
You can imagine a situation where like, you're going down to get a glass of water in the middle of the night or take a piss or whatever. And someone's like, ah! You know what I mean? And so, they could just attack you and that's like scary, right?
Yeah.
But there are also kinds of situations where you can imagine saying the words like, honey, you're scaring me. Babe, you're really scaring me.
Yeah.
And this movie is like 70% of the movie is one character basically saying to the other character, you're frightening me. But like in a way that's like kind of real.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy to think that like if your significant other, if they were crazy, like you picture like The Shining, like they're coming at you with an axe, like you just run away, you shoot them, whatever but like what happens if like you love this person and they're just acting really weird or bizarre or concerning or frightening? I think it does, it makes you think like, at what point would I be like, okay, things I need to tell someone, I need to go to the police, I need to like whatever. But of course in this movie it like pushes and at one point and then it's like kind of past the point of no return. I would recommend seeing it if you're into it. See, like you don't like scary movies, but I'm still tempted to say that like
I mean, I've spoiled it. I know what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like there's nothing about the like story or it's not like it's like the Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
It's not really about the reveal.
No,
like
it's about the the
experience. It's in the name. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the first 8 seconds of the trailer.
Yeah.
That's
awesome though. Hell yeah.
But the cinematography and the acting, and it's just, yeah, something I think that, you know, you would appreciate.
Yeah. It's crazy. That was just like a goofy YouTuber made that movie, like a young
under $1 million budget,
25-year-old whatever goofball YouTuber that has a sketch comedy YouTube channel made like one of the highest grossing horror movies ever.
It's so funny that grossed $375 million, and me and Meg were the only people in the theater.
Dang.
Only 2 people.
It has been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple of weeks, and we went on like a Monday.
Oh yeah.
at 11 a.m. So
yeah. That's awesome.
Now, what's interesting too is the main character, the actress who is like the scary. She like doesn't like horror movies. Doesn't like
really.
She like got freaked out like filming it.
Dang.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's cool though. Hell yeah.
Anyway, so what's been going on your side of your neck of the woods?
My old neck of the woods. Not a whole lot. Actually quite a bit. Like lots of good stuff. Like we said last week, where I was just like bouncing around to a bunch of games. I got to play WARDOGS this weekend. Their pre-alpha.
No thanks to me.
Yeah, thanks to Veritas and his tweet. I got
thanks.
I know. But I got to play that, and I got to play like 8 hours each day, and it's NDA. I can't show anything, but we can talk about it.
Was that your first time?
Yes. Yeah. I'd only ever seen gameplay. There are a couple people in my chat have been in previous playtests, like been playtesting for like a couple of weeks or months. My first time playing. And
Pause champ.
It was awesome. It was great. Like it really is like its own type of experience. Like there is everything about it screams Battlefield when you're in it, which is exactly what I knew would happen. But it's crazy how deep that psychologically goes. Like the first couple hours I just spent like running up to the front line, and then you die, and then you get a kill and you die. And it's like, that is just not how you play this game. Like the way at the end of like the 16 hours of me playing it, it's like I had more fun. You're going to be able to play a bunch of different ways, but I had the most fun playing it more like a Tarkov raid. Like you have to value your life more than when you play Battlefield.
So it's not like when I play Battlefield, I'm looking at the timer, seeing it tick down. I'm thinking I got to get into the fight. All this fucking downtime. Whereas Tarkov is like, I kind of want to avoid all the shit.
Yes, downtime can be beneficial to you in Tarkov, and in exactly that same way. WARDOGS, like it really unlocked for me, and I was having the most fun when I played it that way, where it's like bursts of action and then downtime in a life where there's 100 other people on the map and they're all also fighting. Like you feel like whereas on Tarkov, there's like three fights happening in the raid, and a lot of times you're just like chasing the fight down. And that's almost what makes it different than Tarkov 2, is like you might hear shots and want to go get that kill, but there's so many people on the map, you can't just like sprint. In Tarkov, you kind of can. You're like, oh, I killed that guy off spawn. I hear that guy. I'm just going to run towards him. But there's so many people in WARDOG. So it's just like, it really plays slower. Also, one of the criticisms...
Like a domination...
King of the Hill. So there's a circle in the middle, and whichever team has more people in the circle is getting points. And then it's first team to 100. And within that big circle, the circle's like 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers. Like the circle in which you could get points is like the size of streets of Tarkov. It's like, that's how big it is. And then within that, there's a smaller circle that is moving at all times, and that's called the hot zone. And anybody in there is just worth twice. So like if you're in there, I'm worth 2 people on my team. So it's like, you might have less people in the zone, but if all your team is in the hot zone, you could actually be the one like getting the most points. And so that's kind of like your moving PvP catalyst, where it's like, that's how it just doesn't turn into everybody just like ratting in this giant zone. You know what I mean? But like,
how long are the games?
Anywhere between like, there was a game where our team won. It was 100 to like 7 to 13, like, and that lasted like 35 minutes. But there have been games where the 3 teams, it was like 97 to 95 to 100, and those could last like 2.5 hours.
So it really is like a long term.
Mm-hmm. But you like, you can drop, it's server based, so you can drop in and out at any time, and like any money you make stays with you. You get a big monetary bonus for completing a round, and then another monetary bonus if your team wins. So like, there comes a point where like, you might as well stick around even if you're losing, because you're going to get a bunch of money for finishing the round. So it's like, they do a good job of like, you don't have to be there for the entire round if you only have 30 minutes to play. You can hop into a server and play for 30 minutes. But they also don't want to incentivize leaving before the round is over, because like, we're not winning, you're leaving. So they put this kind of big monetary bonus for round completion, even if you don't win. So there comes a point where you're like, okay, well, I might as well see this one out. You know what I mean?
Do you have to exfil, or can you just like
no?
escape?
Yeah, you just hit escape and then you leave. Yeah.
So how do you balance there's value in downtime and the timer's ticking, we have to score points?
Yeah. Well, because once again, because the zone where you score points is so big that you staying alive in the zone, even if you're not actively in a fight, can be beneficial, because you need people in the zone. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can help your team by killing other people, but you can also help your team by staying alive. And then there's also the separate, selfish, I want to make money. And the longer I'm alive, the more money I make. You get money like for being in the zone every like 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. I guess for some reason I was conflating like staying alive with like avoiding combat.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like being outside the zone, like looting, that kind of
yeah,
thing.
I see what you mean. No, you want to spend pretty much your whole life in the zone, auto zone. Just like, how are you spending that life? And there were times where, and what's really cool is the it's really cool when you get a couple of people. So like, there was like me and Doinks and Marks from chat, and then Redstone and Airwing. So we were together and we were moving as a unit, and it's so nice because you can always revive somebody. So like, no matter what, if you get killed, you know, you're just laying there and you're like calling out for help. And so as long as someone from the squad stays alive, wins the fight, they can come res you, and then the squad can keep going. So it's not like this nonstop, like you guys are moving as a 5-man and then I get sniped and then they kill that guy and I have to spawn back at base, and then I have to fly in on a helicopter and you guys are waiting for me, and then I get off. Like, as long as someone in the squad stays alive, you can keep your train moving. You know what I mean?
If you're like in a window, I'm picturing like a house, like the stereotypical, there's a house that's half broken to where it's just open, where you can jump down off the second floor, and there's a window and you're like chilling there, like sniping or whatever, and like you get killed, and you just like fall next to the window. Can like one of your teammates just like walk up to you and just like res you, and then whoop, suddenly you're up in the window sniping again, and you die, and then they could just like,
well, it depends.
So and like res you.
Anybody can res you at any time, but it depends on what physical item they have. So like, anyone can res you, but the res is like 15 seconds long. If you don't have any specialized equipment, and then you unlock more and more specialized equipment like defibrillators and a nebulizer that's only like a one-time use and stuff like that.
Nebulizer for your fucking...
I don't know if it's called a nebulizer. Yeah, it's like a thing. Anyways, so more and more specialized equipment, and even those things are limiting. So the res thing is a one-time use. The defibs run on batteries. So if you can like res 3 people and then the batteries run out and stuff like that. There's body dragging. So a lot of times what you're going to do is you're going to pull that buddy away from the window. And then by the time, that you res that guy, he's up, he might go back to the window. He's either just going to get sniped again, or like everyone as a team is just going to like rotate. The guy's pushing into the house, whatever. But anyways, it really, like, the biggest hurdle they're going to have to get over is how much it's going to, like, intuitively going to give people Battlefield brain. But the game unlocks and is so much more fun. And it's just so, the cash system is just like, it's one of those things in gaming where you go, how has nobody thought about this before? At least in like shooter games like this, because it's the dopamine. Like Tarkov's dopamine comes from like looting. You loot a duffel bag and you're like, LEDX, you know what I mean? And there isn't that in this game, but the dopamine comes from like, you see that number go up the longer you're alive, the more kills you get, the more. So it's so great. So it's like up in the top right, it has your total amount of money you have. You have $100,000, right? And you die and you spawn back at your base and you walk up to the trader and you buy your kit. And let's say your kit costs 10 grand. That $100,000 goes down to 90K. But next to that, you see negative 10K. So that's how much you spent on your kit. So then you like land in, and so there's a live feed of how you're doing on this life, right? You kill a guy and you get $1,000 for killing a guy. So now you're at net negative 9K. And so there's always such a like good feeling moment when you hit 0 and you're like, if I die, I've broken even, I'm fine. But then when you're like on 1 life and you're like plus 70K, like that feels so good. Those are the lives where it's like you, at that point, you've like ran out of ammo. You picked up a gun off somebody. You looted their meds. You looted their ammo. You kill another guy. You pick up his sniper. You kill another guy. Like it's just so like they just nailed the cash system. It's like, it feels good. There's some sort of dopamine factory that goes both directions. The second day, I was like spending 12K on a kit because I was buying RPGs and RPG shells. We were trying to get this tank. And like, so I buy it. On the way in on the helicopter, somebody RPGs the helicopter. So I'm just dead. Minus 12K. Go back to the trader, buy another 12K kit. We land.
Did the RPG cost him 9K or
yeah,
whatever?
Yes, the RPG cost me money. So then I buy a kit again. We land, the tank moved. We're trying to find the tank. I get sniped. Our whole team gets wiped. Now I'm minus another. And it's like, so it goes both directions where you really have to make these decisions where you're like, I really want to get this tank, but I've died 3 times. Am I really about to buy another RPG? You know what I mean? Like it just adds so much more like thought and intentionality and decision making to every decision in a game that feels and plays like Battlefield, this big giant kind of like big team battle. And it just like it creates so many more, it just adds so much more dynamic range to a game like that, right? Like Tarkov is like the pinnacle. Like you can't get much more dynamic range than Tarkov. You can't really hate Tarkov more than Tarkov players do. And you can't really like get highs much higher than Tarkov can deliver. And a Battlefield game, that dynamic range is like much shorter, where it's kind of just like flow state. Get 3 kills, die, get 2 kills, die, get 5 kills, die. And then you go on that one run where you get like 20 kills and you're like, oh, that was sick. But the dynamic range, this just like, poof, it elevates it. It means when you're doing really well, you're like rewarded for it in a way that spikes those little dopamine receptors. And it means when you're doing really poorly, like you are forced to change your strategy. Like you can't just keep buying these $10,000, $12,000 kits and slamming your head against the wall. You're going to run out of money. You know, you have to like run a budget kit or change the attack or go to a different place on the map. It just kind of like forces these decisions, and it was very addicting.
So I wonder, like, I mean, yeah, you always have to balance, like with a game like this, how much value you really get from any of the things you're spending money on, as compared to how easily you can die without ever getting a chance to use any of it, right? Yeah. And so what I like, my gut is that like some people are going to be good enough to where they can just kind of buy whatever the fuck they want, right?
For sure.
Like, and then other people are just they're gonna die and they're gonna say SKS red dot go. Like the minimal, because like in Tarkov, SKS with 120 round mag with like a DP in it, and a fucking Walther red dot, and you can kill a 3-man
For sure.
squad with the best gear in the game.
For sure.
Just pop.
Yep.
Boom. You're fucking loaded out of your mind. Too much stuff to take out.
Yep.
So like, I wonder how, given that like, if a Tarkov raid is 40 minutes,
yeah,
you make that decision once for like a 40-minute period. Whereas in this game, the game might be an hour long.
Yeah.
But you might have to make that decision 10 or 15 times.
Yes.
So I feel like there would be this tendency, unless game design would push it, that tendency elsewhere, to like just go to the least common denominator, highest value, less friction loadout.
Well, 100%. I think a part of that is like how they are choosing to balance how much things cost and how much money you make when you do things, right? So like assuming that people are going to like assuming the average person's KD is going to be less than 1, they price things and then reward things in such a way that that doesn't become like this loop that discourages experimentation.
Yeah, the like getting a kill needs to be like 20% more value than like the average amount that person invested in the kit when they died.
Yes. So like an AK costs $900 and getting a kill in the zone gives me $1,200. 1 kill. You know what I mean? So it's like they're okay with like the 1% of people, like you said, that are really good. They'll have $500,000. They'll have $1 million. It doesn't matter. It's the most people playing the game. Because just like in Tarkov, there's really, if you're Desmond, there is really no difference between you having 5 million rubles and 500 million rubles. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you're Desmond and you have 5 million rubles, you can afford an SKS with BP and you can be more effective than I can be with anything in the game. But if we balance the game around making sure Desmond can't get 500 million rubles, well, then Johnny can't get 10,000 rubles. Yeah. And so they've kind of taken that other approach where it's like they know that the 1%ers, it's going to be indistinguishable if they have $1 million versus $100,000. So make it fun. And then the other thing I'll say to that is, you can, and this is why the system is great, that it's all connected to cash. You can make cash in more ways than, like, okay, what I'm saying is like, it might cost you $5,000 to buy the RPG and 3 rockets. You don't have to use the RPG or the 3 rockets to make the $5,000 back. Does that make sense? So it's like, that's the other part of it is like, I bought the kit, right? The super expensive kit. And maybe we were chasing down the tank. During that time, I got 2 kills with my AK. I rezzed 3 teammates. Every time you res a person, if you res your teammate, anyone on your team, your 33 people, from the moment you res them to the moment they die again, you get a percentage of all the money they make. So if you res Desmond and he pops the fuck off, you made $5,000.
The fucking Birdie Madoff strat where you just run around with paddles and invest. It's a pyramid. It's a massive pyramid scheme.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a universe where you buy the RPG, you didn't get to use it, but you're not down any money. So that doesn't make you feel too bad about buying it again. Sometimes you buy it, you land, you die immediately, and you're out the 5K. But it's not like, but there are so many interlinking systems connected to the cash that it didn't feel like it was oppressively a race to the bottom where it was like naked running. You know what I mean? Like, because you make money by being in the zone, you make money by destroying enemy fobs and enemy equipment, you make money by rezzing people, you make money by transporting troops, you make money by transporting building supplies, you make money, you can get assists, you can get tipped when people, and so it's like there's so many different ways. And
ostensibly, like, you could not buy anything. You don't even need a weapon. And could you just drive people around?
Yes.
I mean, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of the best ways to make money. Is to just do transport. Logi. Like, that's what I love about this game is like, if you like these kind of like Milsimies type of games, but your type of gameplay isn't sweaty PvP, you can make money And the sweaty PvP guy is going to fucking love having you around. Like already there were like guys where we were like, I want to get on your chopper. You never crash it. You always land. You can hot land us really quick in and out. And so they're just going back and forth, making fuck tons of money. I want to get on his chopper because I know he's going to get me where I need to go without crashing on the way. Everybody wins.
And historically, like the only, like that's only ever kind of like a meme, like running around with paddles in Battlefield or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
No.
it's like helpful, but it's like not. And it's a way to play and it's a viable, but it's not like,
dude,
it's not like there's no economy, so to speak, in a way that
Yes.
like you can think about it like you want to do, I want to have a job.
Yes.
And so
and it allows
you might make far more money to spend to like invest in the chopper than you will in a gun.
Yes. And in games like that, it often relies on your satisfaction. So if you're a medic or if you're a pilot, most games always rely on your satisfaction of just going, I know I helped the team. And that's not very convincing to most people. But in this game, you make fuck tons of cash money. And so, like, does that make sense? That completely changes it. If you like that type of gameplay, you can be good at WARDOGS. You can make tons of money. You can progress doing that, whether or not your team wins, whether or not you get that, like, yo, you're a sick ass pilot. And that just feels good. Like, you can absolutely spec your entire kit into like meds, bringing smoke so you can like pop smoke and then like res people inside, all the stuff for the quick reses. You can heal other teammates too. So it's like, I can res you and then I can heal you. I make money for healing you. I make money for resing you. I make money for anything that you do from now on. And it's like, you can absolutely, and you can turn the tide of a fight. Because if you res 40 people in the hot zone, you're keeping the numbers up. You know what I mean? So it's dope.
Yeah. Like there's, I don't want to say there's no game where this is the case, because you could make the argument that like the defibrillators in Battlefield is like this. But like for you as an individual, if you're like me, I play Battlefield and I usually played it alone and I would just jump in or deathmatch it out for a few hours, whatever, get up. There was no world where like my life, and what I mean is like the time from spawn to death, where what happened during that period mattered outside of that period.
Yep.
You die, it's like, okay, just respawn. Like maybe it would affect the team's performance or whether or not we're gonna win, but like, let's be honest. Who really fucking cares when you play Battlefield?
If you win,
what the leaderboard looks like, or if you win at the end, it's kind of just like, did I have fun? Like, so, but like in Tarkov, you really care about the outcome of a raid.
I really care about it, yeah.
In a PUBG, you really care about the outcome of, you either want that chicken dinner or you want to make it at least to like the final circle or whatever. But yeah, so I mean, I think that it definitely has some really interesting things that set it apart from a game like Battlefield. The only thing that I always felt was missing from Battlefield type games or from playing like certain game modes in games like Call of Duty, namely the ones that are like hold the position or the ABC domination, those kinds of things. It was always like the thing that the game wants you to do, and what I feel as if the game designers like envision is never how they play out.
Yes.
Ever. You have 30 people on a team, 2 people are in a Discord call, a couple other people, might be doing in-game comms, bitching at each other, and then everyone else they're just kind of half paying attention, watching TV, like whatever. But like a game where it's like capture or hold the position, hold a point kind of game.
Yep.
That is designed to be like, Alpha team, 3 people are going to sweep around left. We're going to fucking work together. We're going to take this point. We're going to whatever. And then you take it. It's like, okay, everybody set up. I want 3 on the left. And you're like, that's what would make one of those games incredible, is like the ability to like work together as a team. Because otherwise what you have is 30 people where one runs in, gets a couple of kills, dies.
Yeah.
Runs in, and it's just like this, and it's just a bunch of individual people just doing, and who whichever team has 4 people who are like have a 2+ KD, they're the ones that just win, and nothing else anybody does matters. It's just like, I can kill you. So I wonder, there's no game where, even Battlefield, it doesn't really allow for that. But a game where there's a 2-hour match at least allows for potentially like, okay, guys, let's take 5 minutes and like regroup and plan an assault and coordinate. Is that remotely approach anything that you experienced?
Yes. So like, though that type of experience is definitely reserved for like your squads and your armas, where like squad, for example, like there's radio, and then there's like squad radio, and then there's like, when I played I only played squad once, and it was like so overwhelming because there's literally like someone in charge of your team, and then like 3 or 4 lieutenants in charge of squads, and then those squads in charge of grunts, and I'm a grunt. And so like there's like you could have like 6 different radio channels. Do you want to talk like, and there's like hierarchies, and like what you get as a benefit of that though is this like insanely tactical, very like we're waiting in a bush for orders from like some 14-year-old, right? But he's in charge and he gives us the order and we go. Those games are cool. This is definitely less Mill Simmy than that, right? For sure. But it does play slow enough, and it does play long enough. And here's the thing. Once again, those games require a community of people that want to like LARP that hard. And I don't use LARP in a derogatory term. It's fucking sick to be able to do that. And the secret sauce of WARDOGS is that they know every human on planet Earth's weakness is number go up. That make me feel good.
Everybody wants to rush for the gunshots and go kill.
Number go up, make me feel good. So they use the cash system to force play like you're saying. How do they want the game to play? Playing like that will make you the most money. Well, now suddenly, like the driving force for me is I want to make money. So they can guide me. They have this lever that Battlefield doesn't have. Like, right? Battlefield, it's just like, if they want more teamwork, all they can really do is like make double the amount of XP that rezzing someone gives. But I'm still not going to res someone. I'm just going to...
Players don't look at the fucking XP or the whatever. Yeah.
But WARDOGS has a lever to pull. The other games don't, which is like, rezzing gives you a shit ton of money. If you res this guy and he gets a kill, you get a percentage of that. And then between season and season, they can adjust those values. So one season piloting might be even more lucrative, or maybe a little bit less, or this or that. And so they have this mechanism to corral this, like, they called it selflessness, where it's like, I'm going to help you because I get something out of it. And they have that lever to pull. So we were like in the squad chat often being like, yo, hey, oh my God, this is happening over here. Let's do that. Okay. And then you see these guys, and then this helicopter pilot picks up people from base and he brings them over here, and you tell him to bring them here instead of there. And it's like, there is a layer. It's not to squad level, right? It's not to ARMA level. It's not SEAL Team 6 tactical go, go, go. But they can push that needle away from just run and gun, run to the front line, die, to a much more like strategic, decision-making, slower, methodical process by hacking the fact that we all want that number to go up. And it, in my experience so far, it works very successfully. Now, obviously, I'm kind of glazing the game because I had a good time. The more I played, the more I was like, this is not an everyone game. Like, I was like, you know what I mean? Arc Raiders, that first month, I was like, if you have eyeballs and like video games, buy this game, you're going to love it. Like, I was just like, every single human being is going to love this game. The more I played WARDOGS, the more I was like, yeah, this is definitely not an everyone game. Like,
but the question is it a Jesse game?
Yes. So far, yeah, for sure. Like you said before, I don't think this is a like 10,000 hours uninterrupted game. Remember, we were talking about like, this isn't Tarkov where it's like there's just all these systems to learn and all these like progression and the stash value and all this kind of stuff. It is inherently still like a session based game where like you go in, you win, you leave, you go into another one, you win, you leave. Now there is a lot of progression. So like you have your level, which is just like your war dog level. And as you level up, so basically the way it works, what you can buy from the trader is a very limited amount of things. As you level up, you get the ability. So like you start, you can only use, the only free gun is this burst fire 5.56 gun. And then you unlock the ability. No, it's one I haven't seen before. I don't know how it was. It's
but the same kind of.
Yes, yeah. If you want the AK, you have to get to level 5. And then when you get to level 5, you have to buy the AK. You purchase the ability to purchase it. You unlock the AK by spending 30 grand on the AK. Now, every time you die, you get the ability to spend $900 on the AK. That's how much it costs each life, right? And so you have your level, your war dog level, all the way through that, you're unlocking things. So it's like a money sink, right? Where like the later on things, like the really good armors, like $50K upfront investment, and then it's like $1,100 every time you die. But then there's your subclasses. There's pilot, driver, support, recon, assault, medic.
Train man,
yes. Each of those
position in the Tour de France.
Oh, train man.
Yeah, and puncher.
Puncher.
Yeah, you didn't think you could do that, right?
I didn't think. I'm going to Google that later. Each of those 6 professions has their own skill progression, where it's like I'm level 20 war dogs, but I'm a level 6 recon, and you can get points in those things. So it's like no matter what, you don't pick engineer, you don't pick medic, right? No matter what gun you're using, if you res somebody, you get points in medic. You know, right?
Gotcha.
Like if I buy an AK and I go out and I run out of ammo and I pick up somebody's sniper and I shoot somebody, I get points in recon. Now, obviously, you can like decide to like grind recon and grind medic.
So that's the equivalent of like when you have heavy backpack, you're leveling strength, you're leveling endurance.
So you can
you're
be
doing the thing.
Exactly. You can be leveling a lot of things. But each of those 6 trees has their own like unlock tree where like you need to get level 20 medic to unlock the defibrillators. So there is a decent amount of progression, and the progression is inherently more tantalizing to me than like Battlefield, where I just want to get to level 70 so I can get the emblem. You know what I mean? Like I don't care about that. In Battlefield, once I get the gun I like, it's kind of game over. Whereas there's so much more progression built into this game. And it's like huge money sinks as it goes. And then the game is also going to wipe between every season so they can add more things and change up the progression and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so it's definitely, in my experience so far, it's definitely a Jesse game because it's exactly what I wanted it to be, which isn't a perfect game, which isn't like the best game ever made, but a game that sits in between something like Tarkov and Battlefield, where you don't have to be unemployed to enjoy it like Tarkov, but there are real stakes, real loss, real highs, and real lows, which is something I don't get out of Battlefield 1 weekend. I had a blast playing Battlefield 6 with Ham and Airwing, and we had a squad going every day. And then 10 days in, I was just like, there is quite literally nothing that could happen today that didn't happen yesterday. Like you know what I mean? I just got my experience and I was done. And this sits right in the middle, where it's a much more just like fun, goof off with your friends. There's a lot of emergent gameplay. Obviously, there's VoIP, and like anytime you get a bunch of people together with like a team goal, the VoIP shenanigans goes crazy. Resin people, dragging them, throwing smoke, dragging me. Oh, I got you, buddy.
Fortunate Son playing.
Exactly. Dude, and you know what else is crazy? So when you die and you're like waiting there for a res, what's the first thing you do in Battlefield? Hold space, respawn. Like, I'm not waiting for some dude to run across the map. Dude.
Pull out my phone.
Sometimes you'll look at the map and there's just like 30 of your team all dead, and none of them, because when you give up, you've committed to losing whatever money. As long as you're laying there, if somebody reses you, you can continue that life, right? You haven't lost that money yet. So everybody waits for a res, and because you get paid for resing, everybody wants to res you.
The moment you get res, the first thing you're thinking of is, I'm gonna go over there and res this guy.
Oh, dude. And what you can do, if you're dead and there's 2 other people dead by you, your team, and you're all waiting for a res, you can put a bribe down to whoever reses you to res you first. So like, they're going to get money for resing you, but you can add to the pot. So you can be like, hey, if you res me, I'll give you an extra $500 so that the medic reses you first before the other 2 people.
Whoa, okay, wait. Say that one more time. You can.
So if you're dead and you have 2 teammates dead next to you and a medic is running up and you want them to res you first, you say, hey, medic, I'll pay you an extra $500.
But is there anything that like holds you to that?
You press a button and it's $50 increments where you increase the bribe.
Oh, so it's built. Oh,
you are
okay,
committing.
So the bribe is built into the game.
You go
not
ding,
just
ding,
like a
yes. You go ding, 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 ding. It maxes out at $500, and then when the medic is running up, they see the 3 dead people, and there's a 500 above your name.
Oh my God, there's going to be like little kids that are just going to be like following around like Shroud.
Yeah.
Who's going to have infinite money and they're just going to be waiting for him to die. And he's going to die and be like, max it out.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's fucking hilarious,
Yeah.
dude. Holy
So
shit.
it's this cool blend of like emerging.
It changes death.
Yes.
I want a game that like your childhood memories flash before your eyes and shit. Okay, that's how they need to change.
Yeah. Wow.
It's the only other way I could think of.
It's the only way to make dying stressful.
Like, unique take on death in a game. I'm like, what else could they do? I mean, I guess they could like show your fucking.
You have to upload VHS tapes from your childhood to the game before you play.
Oh shit.
That'd be crazy. But it, yeah. So like I said, it's a game where the more you play it, the more you realize how different it is from the other games, and the more you realize how different you need to play it to get the most out of it. And the more you do that, it just like rapidly and exponentially gets more and more fun. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a blast. So I'm stoked for that to come out. I don't know when. We didn't get any freaking release date or anything. They just did 2 days. They had like 4,000 or 5,000 people, like 10 servers each day, and we'll see. They said early access is coming towards the end of the summer, but we have no idea. We don't know. So,
fuck yeah, dude.
But it's sick. Other than that, Tarkov posted a little bit more about season 1 for the seasonal character, and they showed the Project Zomboid-esque. So we've talked to you about where like everybody will get the ability to select their own buffs and debuffs. So not everybody's character will be the same for season 1. Well, for any season. Okay. But like, so every season you get a certain amount of points to select some like buffs for your character. And then you can select debuffs that give you more points. So you can select more buffs. So it's like this thing. And so we kind of knew roughly how it would work, but they posted a screenshot. And so here are just a couple of them so you get the vibe. Like, one of the debuffs you can select that gives you 3 more points to select more buffs is called Allergic. Become allergic to 2 random items from the provisions or medication category. We don't know what that means. We don't know what an allergic reaction will mean, but it will mean 2 foods or medicines you just won't be able to take this wipe.
Bro, you know how many times we've made the joke where it's like, oh, I just have like ulcerative colitis, so therefore my character every 14 minutes just has like diarrhea.
Yes.
They're memeing so hard right now.
It's so great. You can select no flea market. So you are just opting out of the ability to use the flea market.
You can trade no flea market, but your hideout will be infested with fleas.
Yes. Broken secure container. So the secure container can only be filled with cache keys and dog tags. So you can't put like injector cases or like all sorts of stuff you won't be able to put in your secure container. It's broken.
So wait, are these things that are chosen or they're chosen. Like RNG?
Chosen. You choose them.
Okay.
They just showed a couple. So I'm just reading the ones that like, but you could have had any of these selected. And then one is called Third Leg. Movement speed is decreased by 1%, but buying anything from Therapist is 5% cheaper.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then these are some of the bonuses. So these are the other side. These are things you can select that buff your character. You don't have to you don't have to pick any of these, but these are the ones it shows.
I feel like you should also get a discount of Ragman, but that's
polyphagia. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Energy is consumed 15% slower. Sturdy bones, limb fracture chance is decreased by 15%, and falling from heights deals 15% less damage. I need that. This is a really interesting one. It's called average. All character skills are set to level 25, but cannot be leveled further. So you get to start day one with 25 strength and endurance, but you can never get past 25 strength and endurance.
interesting. So I thought what that was going to be was that for every for every 10 points of XP you get in any particular category, it distributes it evenly.
Oh,
so you
level.
Always,
yeah.
Everything levels slower, but
you level everything.
But you level everything all at once.
Everything is set right to. So the big thing with this is it solely depends on how long seasons are.
Yeah, but that also sucks though, because there's max level. You'll never get the max level bonuses.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. If a season is 6 months or whatever, it's not worth it because you have enough time that you would get max that. If a season is only 3 months, an average person like Veritas, since 1.0, my endurance is level 26 right now. So it's if a season's only 3 months, what's the likelihood you were going to get past 25 on your skills? So it's easy money, easy click, right? So that's interesting. But that's also a very expensive buff in terms of the amount of points you would need to pick it. And then the other one that's listed here is it's called Kappa Protocol. Immediately receive secure container Kappa. So you can start the wipe with a Kappa container. But that's very expensive. So that was some of the stuff. So we just got a little bit more information about what that looks like. And then they later released a picture with the names of all of them. Every buff, every debuff that's going to be available. Not descriptions, so we don't know what they mean, but just the names of them all. So some of the buffs are Safecracker, Bushborn, Marathon Runner, Street Tax, Sailor's Nostalgia, Hercules. I don't know what any of these means. Some of the debuffs are, well, that hurt. Personality Vacuum, Dr. Jekyll, Osteoporosis.
I don't know why I'm getting ChatGPT vibes.
Incompetent. And then for season 1, there will be 6 global modifiers. These are ones that apply to everybody. You can't choose or unchoose them. They apply to everyone in the wipe. No insurance, no found in raid hideout. So nothing to upgrade your hideout will need to be found in raid. Black Division. I assume that just means Black Division, the faction, will be spawning on the maps. Mm-hmm. Handyman. Don't know what that means.
Speaking of Ragman.
Handyman. Seasoned PMCs. A little salt, pepper, garlic, maybe.
God damn it.
Seasoned PMCs. Shit. And this one I'm excited for. Armor shortage.
Armageddon.
Oh, dude, you were spinning. You were I know there's something there. Anyways, so we are getting just little tiddly bits about what season 1 is going to look like. I'm very excited. At this point, I really think they've nailed a lot of this stuff. The big question is just going to be I don't know. The big question is just going to be how much is this going to matter if everything else about the wipe is the same. Like if I still have to go to Ground Zero to get these 2 quests and then go to get the pocket watch and then go get level 10 to get this, like if everything about the wipe is the same, you know, starting with the Kappa container and losing energy 15% faster isn't going to be that big of a difference. You know what I mean? Like I'm interested to see what some of those global modifiers mean, and maybe that will like really shake up the game, or maybe if they've changed any of the progression or something. But I really like the idea. I really think bringing back wipeable characters is an important thing to keep the community engaged. I love the idea of the Project Zomboid-esque, you know, choose your own adventure. I love the idea of global modifiers to make each season feel different. They've already shown some of the, like, there's cosmetics and things to earn by playing this thing. I think so far they're doing a lot of it right. I just really hope it feels like a different game. You know what I mean? Like not a different game than Tarkov, but I really hope it feels different than playing on main, you know, because it's got to feel different. There has to be a choice there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and honestly, like this is something that in like the last like decades that we've been like involved with this whole thing. I don't think that we've ever like really thought of anything kind of like this seasonal concept. Never, when we came up with like, we thought of like fucking everything in terms of like the way that things could, the way that the design of this game could go. It's more like one of the things that the kind of thing that we would spitball in an episode.
Very much
like,
so.
It'd be really cool if there was this thing, but we would describe like a crazy, complex, large. Like imagine if there was a system where you had to do this and that and this, and then but it would be like, but obviously like that's never going to happen. So it's kind of neat because that like there's this massive, robust system that I don't know. It feels like totally new.
Especially since
of things.
Especially since some of the conclusions we've come to is that Tarkov's been out for so long and attracted so many different gamers that have come from so many different eras that want so many different things. We had both in different ways kind of come to the conclusion where it's like throw the hands up in the air. Well, at this point, they're not going to be able to make everyone happy because too many people want too many different types of things. So what the fuck does it even matter? You know what I mean? And this is kind of like, it allows for both to exist. Like, there's a character that wipes regularly with like massive changes to the economy and how it plays for people that like that, you know, stimulus of things constantly changing. There's going to be your character that never wipes again. And so many people were excited about that in 1.0 because they play super casually and they never got to like chase Kappa or do anything because it wipes too frequently. And those people will be able to play that. And PvE players have been loving playing PvE since they added that to the game. And so like, I always imagined Tarkov to be this homogenous, it's just one game, and I hope they take it the right direction. And it's interesting that they kind of just realized that so many people wanted so many different things that now they're going to have these different experiences. The obvious question is because PvE players don't play on PvP servers and the seasonal character is going to be on its own servers, then the question is like, are there enough people to like keep it up? But I would argue that there is, and that like so many, like the seasonal character is speaking to so many of the people that played Tarkov and left. You know what I mean? Because the game feels the same, because it's not PvP focused enough or whatever. You know what I mean? Like this is going to be the place to go to like fight and scrap and wipe your character and grind the cosmetics and like churn and burn like you did back in the day. And so my gut tells me there are enough Tarkov players to keep this machine going. But I do think that is obviously the biggest concern, and it is a valid one, is like, if you split the community, how, you know, are the raids going to be dead? Which I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if a raid didn't have every single spawn full personally, but maybe I'm just crazy. So very intrigued to see that. Very intrigued to see that. And then the only other thing that I've been playing a little bit off stream for a playtest that I can't stream, but is a game called Hunger. And it's really kind of out of left field, off my radar.
You can't just Google Hunger game.
I did the same thing. I Googled.
Great SEO.
Hunger game. You just get Katniss Everdeen.
And then if you just Google Hunger, you just get like in the arms of the angel.
Here, I'll send you this. I've kept this tab open because it's much easier this way.
In the
Ooh, hit that shit, boy. Hit that shit, boy.
Sorry, that was so perfect that we're gonna get copyright struck.
We might. You nailed that.
Yeah, absolutely nailed it. Okay.
So
First things first, what I'm seeing is American Revolutionary War. Nope, now it's Mordhau. Wait.
yeah,
Okay.
Mordhau with guns
Oh,
and monsters.
Resident Evil. Oh. So it's Revolutionary War meets what's the game?
Hunt Showdown.
Hunt Showdown.
So, yes.
Hung
Showdown.
Hung That's a different. That's have you been looking at my DVD collection? Hung Showdown.
Showdown.
Colon, The Rise of the Dudes.
The Rise of the Dude. Yes, it is. It looks very Hunt Showdown coded. Monsters, muskets, swords, beautiful world. It's very much so not. So what? Once again, this isn't a game where I've been like looking forward to this for years. I'm kind of new to all this. It is.
Half of the clips in this montage are you're using pliers on your sternum. It seems like I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at.
Yeah. So that's like So what the pliers are is like fixing your armor. So it's like you have your HP and then you can wear armor. And so the way
that's just like
yes,
bandaging your arm in PUBG.
But the way it is 100% is. But the way the meds work in this game is there are consumable meds and meds that don't get consumed. The meds that you buy that don't consume unless you die take 5 fucking ever to heal you. But it doesn't get, and that's what that is. So it's like he's doing that for like 10 minutes. But if you found like an armor plate, that's a different animation where you go like boom, 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 and then boom, your whole armor plate's in, and then you don't have to mess with the screwdrivers. So it's like that's a free heal, but it takes forever to heal you. So that's why like he's doing that animation. Anyways, so it's close. So you remember how I'd been saying where I was like, I want an extraction game that's like melee combat focus. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I want Mordhau, but extraction, where it's like, you know, I talked about how in Mordhau I loved the whole like the swing was like you, me, fuck you, and then you guys would fight, and I was like, oh, I want that. You know what I mean? And so this is like not that, but maybe the closest thing we've gotten yet, because like you see with the when they have the melees out, it's got the arrow just like Mordhau did, where it's like depending on where you're looking determines the way you're going to strike.
Yeah.
And so it's much slower than Mordhau in terms of like how long an attack is. But anyways, this game is fascinating me. It's the only thing I can really say about it is it's got sauce. Like it's got aura. Like when I booted it up, I was just like, whoa. Like I don't know.
It is real for real.
Yes, it's got some sauce. But the more that
wait, so you played it?
I played it. So yes, they're doing a play test. Okay. It's kind of like the WARDOGS thing. It's NDA. And I don't know how much I can say, but nothing I want to say isn't in the video Rilo did about this game 6 months ago. So all I was saying is that when I played it, I was like, holy cow, this game has the sauce. But the more I look into it and the more I play it and the more I like watch some of like Rilo's videos on it in the past, tell me if this makes sense. This, like, you know how Tarkov is an extraction shooter game are you okay?
I just like took out my in-ear monitor to itch my ear, put it back in, and now there's no sound.
Didn't you just get those replaced?
I did. Is this my ear or is it?
Am I deaf?
Oh God! Continue.
Okay. You know how Tarkov is an extraction shooter that has MMO like elements. Like it's got a player market. Like it's got soft skills. It's like very obviously this type of game, but it kind of borrows some things, right? And it like leans in some of those directions. This almost feels like the opposite, where this is like an MMO that happens to be, instead of a big open world map, it's instance maps, and it's just full loot PvP all the time. So it feels like it's more borrowing those from extraction games. Like it fundamentally is an extraction game. You go in, you kill shit, you loot, you can kill a player, and you leave. But that's not like inherently the reason you're going into that raid is to kill people. There are so many more. There's professions, there's progression, there's quest givers, there's dailies, there's crafting materials, there's like a ton of progression. There's farming where you're like farming this material out of this not like farming like planting crops, but like you're gonna want to go farm a material. Like in Tarkov, you really just need the bolts just so that you can turn the 10 in for the quest and then be done with that, and then you never need bolts again. This is like more like an MMO where it's like you might need to go farm materials so that you can then craft this thing. There's dungeons. So like basically every map has labs underneath it. Every single map in the game has a dungeon underneath it that you need a key to open. And you get the key, and then you go through the labyrinthian dungeon. There's like all this sort of bespoke enemies and loot down there. And then you have to come back up and leave through the raid just like anybody else does. And then you can find in that dungeon a boss key for the boss. And if you want to run the boss is an instanced PvE, like you and your squad go in to fight the boss, like a MMO kind of like raid type deal.
Okay.
So it's like,
sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, so it feels more like an MMO that borrows from extraction games, the fact that it's smaller instance maps and it's full loot PvP. But it's much more a game where you might not necessarily need PvP that round. Or, you know, there might be a guy off in the distance farming ads so he can get his thing. I'm going to the dungeon, and it's like, fine, you hear those shots and it's fine. Now you can chase the PvP if you want. You can go do it or whatever. But it's got so much more, like the hideout in Hunger is a social hub, like an MMO. Like when you arrive at the hideout, there's 40 other.
Sorry.
You're fine. I know. When you arrive at the hideout, it's called the Chateau. There's 40 other like real people running around. It feels like an MMO where like all of you run up to this trader and you turn in your quests, and then you're like all running around. You can like talk to people. There is eventually like a player market. So it kind of just came out of left field. It wasn't something I knew a whole lot about prior to this, and which is always fun when you just like find something that you haven't been optimized all the information and you're like dying for it, you're waiting for it. It literally was just like, oh, that looks sick. I got invited to the playtest. Cool. Oh my God. Like, so I'm kind of like learning about it right now and realizing that it's a really different experience. It looks like Hunt Showdown with Resident Evil zombies, right? That's how it looks. But it plays very different.
Hunt Showdown has Resident Evil zombies.
That's true. That's actually very true.
It looks like Hunt Showdown in 1777.
Yes. In 1816, I think is when the game is set. And it's got a much more focus on melee. So have you seen any of the reload animations? Yeah, so like Hunt loading. Hunt Showdown is at its core a game about shooting people. Like all the PvP in that game is shooting. You use your knife to kill like the ads silently, but it's a game where you shoot. This is a game where it's like you shoot to open the fight, and then they can close any amount of distance on you before you can reload your fucking gun. So then you pull the sword out, and it's like, all right, come at me, bitch. I think the strongest rifle in the game has a 14-second reload.
Hell yeah, dog. There's got to be the.
Yes, there is. It's not that. It's flipped though. It's rotating like this. There are some guns like that. This is a interesting thing. So there's 6. Once again, it feels almost like a hero shooter at first because there's 6 characters you can pick from, and each one has like a Q and an E ability. But the thing is, like, so say you pick this one character. When you get them to a certain level, you can prestige that character. When you prestige that character, you can pick one of those abilities, the Q or the E, to unlock for use of any other character. So each character has a passive trait and then a Q and an E. So over time, you can build a character where you're like, you like this one's passive, so you want that one, but I want that one's Q and that one's E, and I'm gonna like make this dope person. But you have to go play that character up and prestige them, and then play this character up and prestige them, and then you can do this thing. So it's less of a hero shooter in terms of like Johnny has this and only Johnny has that. It's like it basically just adds to the progression of like you can build your character. It just takes, once again, a la MMO, a grind. Like this feels like a game that's gonna have a fuck ton of hours of content to do. Yeah. I've only played 2 times, but it very much so is giving the vibes of like there's probably 1,000 hours worth of content in this game right now. So it's a fascinating game. Came out of left field for me personally. I know people that have been following it for a long time, but it's unique. It's got some sauce to it as well, for sure.
I like the concept, the whole idea that like a gun is really like a
yes,
like 8% of the combat is like
yes.
gun. Okay, now it's take the shit out, or yes. You can like shoot, and then like if you're against one of the monsters or whatever, kind of back up around the wall,
yes,
open the thing, look around, pull out the fucking black powder,
yep.
throw the thing, tamp it down. Oh, he's coming at me, ka-chink, kaboom.
Also, very much so like Hunt Showdown, the audio.
Oh, is that good?
Like, just like you're walking around these things, you're going slow, you're fighting this zombie, and you just hear like through the canyon that musket, and then you're just like, and you just run, and I'm chasing them down. Like the audio is crisp, really, really clean.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay, so now I'm watching in the trailer, like you sent me the IGN official pre-alpha extended expedition gameplay trailer, and literally it's 12 minutes 35 seconds long. Okay.
Yeah.
The first 12 minutes and like 15 seconds is like Hunt Showdown. The last like 15 seconds, it looks like Skyrim. Like the lighting is like
what
incredible.
Timestamp?
12:22.
Yeah, it's got.
You're like walking through the cave.
Yes,
like
so that's
gorgeous lighting. That's got to be like maxed out settings.
Yes, it uses the lumen lighting. You can turn that on, and they'll do.
I love Severance.
It's and then that's in the dungeon. So yeah, you're in the cave underground. The lights coming through yeah, it's a gorgeous game too. If you can max out all the settings, it's a gorgeous game for sure. So that was just like kind of came out of nowhere, very very different than the WARDOGS, Tarkov, shoot 'em up milsim game, but it's got some sauce. I'll be excited to follow that 100%. But yeah, that's
hell yeah, dog.
that's what I got going on. So that's it. That's the stuff for this week. Thank you guys for hanging as always. Thanks for supporting, enjoying the conversations. We appreciate you being here. If you want even more content, you can go to patreon.com/thepodcastpod. I almost forgot the name. And get ad-free access to these episodes and extra episodes we do over there every single week. Thank you guys for supporting.
Don't worry, I'm still pressuring Jesse to fit me into his calendar when we can get Jesse to fucking start reacting to all the movies he's never seen because he hasn't seen a single movie.
Good Will Hunting. Yes.
Good Will Hunting. I recently decided that Good Will Hunting is my favorite movie. It surpassed Interstellar, even though I've seen both of them 50 times.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Good Will Hunting is just a masterpiece. And then Jesse was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen it. So
and then it sparked
the
revolution.
We're gonna turn some additional content at least once.
Yes. Yeah.
On the Patreon to some. I just basically Jesse's the friend that like never saw Star Wars or Jurassic Park or Titanic or whatever the fuck, and you're like, bro, I need to live out my fantasy of having that one friend who's like contractually financially obligated to sit through the shit I want to Make this happen for me.
Yes. So if you're interested in that, let us know down in the comments below and join the Patreon. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you to Cash App for sponsoring this episode. And we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Always bring a towel.